Good day, good evening, everyone, wherever you are across the globe. Welcome to One Quantum Africa meetings. Today's session is a special session, of course, because I'm the host today. Faraz has given me the honor of hosting today's session. So basically today we'll be having Gideon Uchehara, and we'll be having a brief introduction about that. But let me just at the first moment, let me just thank Bay Technologies for their always being supportive for the African chapter. So basically, One Quantum is a place where we incubate, where we foster the development of the quantum communities across the globe. Today, we approach more than, I believe it's more than 18 or more than 20 countries across the globe. So what does One Quantum provide? We provide, as I said, providing the community, building the communities in terms of providing the contents, resources. We provide we bridge local communities to the global network of One Quantum. Besides the global organizations and global players in the quantum ecosystem. Also, one of the main and interesting programs in One Quantum is mentoring. They provide we provide in One Quantum very professional programs in mentoring. I am one of the mentees at the moment in one of the program internship program between One Quantum and Keysight Technologies. Basically, I'm working on developing some business skills in in the deep technology sector. Last but not least, we provide some real quantum computing projects. So lately, One Quantum has established a partnership with Strangeworks platform, which is basically this platform could connect you to the whole quantum hardware key players across the globe. So for the last year, and since One Quantum has started officially in September 2020, we hosted wonderful and invaluable sessions each week. And in each week, we had a very special guest, and each guest have, our guests have provided us with a very professional point of view of how to develop the quantum computing roadmap in the country, in the continent, and also in the local countries in Africa. Let me just summarize this up. Recently, a number of new chapters have been established in Africa, namely Zambia, Ghana, Nigeria, Rwanda, Cameroon, and Ethiopia. That's along with the previous chapters, which are in Libya, Zimbabwe, South Africa, and also Kenya. So what are we here today for? Our great speaker, Gideon Uchehara. So Gideon would provide us how we could actually be the African researchers and in the revolutionary computational era, quantum computing, and how to engage African researchers within that field. So basically, Gideon he's a PhD student at the University of British Columbia at the moment, and he obtained his bachelor's degree in electrical and electronics engineering from the University of Benin in Nigeria. Our next guest next week is going to be Shahar Kenan. So we really need you to be there. It's a very interesting session, which is going to be about drug discovery, because all of you know, Africa is a very interesting continent, or very interesting region to to leverage the quantum use cases and quantum applications in drug discovery. So I invite you all to attend this session. Subscribe to our newsletter, One Quantum Africa. I will hit you right there in the chat box with the links, so you could always be tuned up to our news. So that was all from my side. Gideon, if you're ready, we can we can take it on and take us on the new journey.
Thank you very much, Abdul.
Let me just stop my screen.
I want to believe everyone can hear me. All right.
It's good on my side.
Okay, thank you. Okay, I'll be sharing my screen then.
Okay, you're all good.
What screen can you see?
Yes. Okay, so whenever you're ready, just go ahead and I'll just mute myself.
Okay, I think Farai has done a lot of justice to what I intend to do today. And so I would want to give some disclaimer that the audience, it could be that I didn't take into context the audience I'll be speaking with today, but I thought this was going to be some small group that I will share heart to heart with my experience, and also we can inspire one another to, get involved in this field of quantum computing and make a difference in this field as early as we can, because I still believe that it's still in its nascent stage. And the earlier we got involved in this, the better for us in Africa. And so that's why it could be that this topic doesn't really flow in the direction I'll be talking about, but just understand the whole context behind my presentation today. And I'm sure that, you would get one or two things out of this presentation. Thank you. Just a few quotes. My slides will be filled with lots of quotes, so brace up for that. It says quantum computers can solve previously unsolvable problems. I know this has a lot of caveats to it, and this is why Africa needs to act now to not miss this new era. We need to brainstorm around the most pressing African use cases. This was by Solomon Assefa, one of the researchers in IBM. He's a director there. And that's why I kind of thought it necessary to see what I can do to inspire people to get into this field. I always tell people that I got into this field by accident, but accident happened. This accident has happened to me in a very good way. And I'm very proud and happy that I got into this field. And that's the reason why it's like a wake-up call for me to also help others get into this field, either by accident, those who just attended this meeting by accident. I think it's a good time for you to also benefit from this accident that happens, and that you could be one of those that will make impact in this generation. And this is a time for us to get involved in that. So what this talk is not about is that it's not about quantum computing. So don't expect me to begin to talk about the different theorems in quantum computing, to begin to talk about quantum machine learning, which is my area of research. There are lots of resources out there to talk about that. And of course, my intention was to present my research, but upon consultation with my supervisor, he advised against that for very obvious reasons. And I hope in the future I will have a chance to present that according to him. So for today, spare me the opportunity to just talk about my story. And then I hope you get inspired by that. I come from the southeast part of Nigeria, and what we are known for is proverbs. And one of such proverbs is by this renowned writer from my part of the country, Chinua Achebe. It says, a man who does not know where the rain began to beat him cannot say where he dried his body. The rain that beat Africa began 400 to 500 years ago, from the discovery of Africa by Europe through the transatlantic slave trade to the Berlin Conference of 1885. So I know there's a lot to unpack from this proverb, that a man who does not know where the rain began to beat him cannot say where he dried his body. That's a lot to beat up. And that's to tell you, that's to remind us the importance of knowing the root cause of our problems, the importance of knowing where we started from, what has brought us this far, why are we still where we are. It's very important that we get to know that. And that's why the following slide will just give a preamble to what motivated me to getting into this talk. Spare me this graph because it's not exactly what I wanted to show to you today, but this is what I could lay my hands on just to make a point that if you look at what is going on in Africa, if you look at the problems in Africa, we have lots of problems in Africa, and we have leadership problem. And because of our leadership problem, priorities are shifted to other things, and just less attention is given to R&D. And as you can see in the A graph here, forget about the other graph, please. Just concentrate on the first one. You discover that there's no African country that spends up to 1% of its GDP on R&D. And that's a lot of problem. That's a lot of issue for us. How can we as a continent develop if we don't invest in R&D? How can we as a continent grow? How can we make progress if we don't spend time, if we don't spend the resources helping people, helping our education system to build its research base, helping people with ideas, actually incubate these ideas and put them to use in our universities? It's a big challenge in Africa, and that's why we need to sit up. But I'm sure that I'm talking to people here. I don't know. So like I said, spare me the fact that I don't know the diversity of the people in this meeting today, but I assume that the people I'm talking to are mainly students. And so, but if I'm talking to, if it happens that there is someone who is, let's say, government official, that's a great one. I think this applies to you, that it's important that we convey this message to our leaders. It is important that we tell them the need to invest in R&D, and especially the new technology that is emerging, which is that of quantum computing. We had been left behind in the previous phase of technological revolution, which involved classical computing in the 60s and 70s. Right now, it's our turn to take advantage of this technology that has come at a time when we have access to internet, that has come at a time when we have access to all the resources that we need, even though not adequately, but to some extent, we can make a difference with what we have today. And that's why this slide, this is one of the slides, this is just one slide that I will talk about government. Our government needs to sit up, and because of lack of investment in R&D, students are being constricted. Students are constrained to what they can do. But that's not to say we sit down and just know what our government will do for us. We have to sit down and then take the bull by the horn and do our part. And that's what this presentation is all about. Other thing, just to buttress the point of lack of investment in R&D, I got this map from one of the websites, and it's just quantum effort around the world. And hardly would you see Africa in this map. I don't know if this is exhaustive of all that is taking place in the quantum world, but I think the website I picked this from is somewhat credible, where you can tell that out of the many things going on in quantum computing today, you can hardly find any African country. I know of South Africa that is really pioneering a lot of things in quantum computing in Africa, But how much investment is put into that? How much involvement does our government have in this? And so we, the youth of Africa, have to wake up to the challenge and take the bull by the horn, get ourselves educated, get ourselves involved in this, and taking cue from people like Mark Zuckerberg, some of them, they all started somewhere, some of them in their laboratory, some of them in their dormitories or like in their hostels, and made a difference today. We too can step into this technological realm, this new frontier of technology, and make impact without having to wait for the government to do anything for us. And that's what capitalism is all about. I'm sure that most of the countries in Africa today are capitalist states. So we too can leverage on that and apply our skills, apply our knowledge, apply our talents to really making a difference in this time. So this brings me to a point that, to what I'll be talking about, the focus of my talk today. It is to tell you, share with you my own story. I remember when I discussed with Farai on this, I told him, I say, I think I will just share my story and hope that it inspires somebody, because storytelling is the most powerful way to put ideas into the world today. And that was said by Robert Mackey. I hope that my story can motivate someone, put some ideas in someone, and help someone actually get started, or someone who is thinking of quitting in this field of quantum computing to get going in this field, and also make a difference that generations that will resonate, that will resonate generations. And so that is what I will be sharing in the next few slides. Why do we need to tell a story? I want to tell my story. I want my story to reflect, to how I tell my stories for self-reflection. I tell my stories to inspire others. I tell my stories to pass messages, to pass the message across, and especially to those who are in power that can do something to help our young people to get to achieving their dreams. For everything ever accomplished, there was a phase that someone believed. The background is past, but your future is an open book which can chronicle greatness and accomplishment. That's been said. I just want to tell you that I also started from somewhere. After graduating, after finishing my master's degree, I took up a job, but I discovered that I didn't derive the satisfaction I had envisioned in that job. And so that led me to search for some other things, to search for what I could do. I knew within me there was this instinct for research inside of me, and I wanted to do something that can influence the world, that can make a difference in the world. And so I just started researching on different topics, and I stumbled on quantum computing. At the same time, I also stumbled on machine learning, because even though I had little knowledge of machine learning during my master's program, I didn't go deep into that. But the interest was ignited after my master's and when I started working. And when I listened to different speakers on YouTube, did some research on my own, I got inspired to really learn these new areas. First, the machine learning side, and also the quantum computing side. I listened to John Preskill, I listened to Andrew Ng for the machine learning side. And I took some courses, but remember, I had no formal education in quantum computing. I had no formal education in computer programming. I was more into electrical engineering, so I didn't do so much of computer programming. And I had no formal education in machine learning, like I told you. But I had some foundation in math, and I have some foundation in engineering. I thought to myself, I can leverage on this to achieve whatever I want to achieve. As long as I can read and understand, I can teach myself whatever. I can learn, listen to other people and learn from them and apply that to myself. that was what I did. And so at work, sometimes when I have a little bit of break, I spend time to study quantum computing and also took some courses in machine learning online. Though I found some of them very boring, but I committed myself to finishing these courses. And I completed several online courses, most of them on scholarship, within a very short time. And the next stage for me was, how can I progress with this? I wanted to progress. I wanted to make progress. I wanted to do something that can make impact in the world. And I knew how to do that was to get involved in research, to do research that can impact the world. And so I started making my contacts, getting to see if I can find professors who will be willing to accept me into this field of quantum machine learning. I made several contacts, but I was rejected. But finally, after persistent application, I was able to get 2 offers in the 2 best universities here where I live in BC. And that was a milestone for me. That was a great one for me. And that motivated me to put in my best into this field of quantum computing. And that's why I dedicated myself today to quantum machine learning. I would have shared with you some of my work, but because it's not yet published, I will reserve it for the future. But it has been very gratifying. It has been very fulfilling. Time will fail me to tell you how much odds I had to face to get to this point. But just know that nothing good comes easy. To challenge those of us here, I am telling you that you need to do your best. I know some of us are already in, but I will be looking at how you too can inspire other people, putting the little efforts that you can put in and help other people get into this field. Some people don't know what it takes to get in. Some are scared that they want to get in. And that's why this is a group that I am part of here in BC. It is called UBC Gearing Up. It's a diversity training in quantum computing for young people. I knew how I struggled with the math, because you have to get used to proofs and you have to get used to lots of maths in quantum mechanics. I knew some of the struggles. And so I decided, okay, I've come a long way in this field, at least for the few years. I started in 2020, and that was last year. But today I can say, yes, at least to some extent, I know a few things, and I decided to volunteer with this group to help young people. I had the opportunity to mentor a few of them, to challenge them, and to tell them how to start out in quantum computing. I did a presentation for them, and many of them decided after my discussion with them that they were going to face their fears. And today, some of them will be going to the university to study quantum computing. Some of them have even decided, because I started a reading group here in UBC. Many of them are inspired to also start the same thing with their peers, to motivate themselves to study, to motivate themselves to go the extra mile. And that brings me joy, because the fears that I had battled with, I am able to make it look very easy for other people, that they don't have to go through the same thing that I went through in getting into this field. It is easy if you want to get into this field. It doesn't cost much. And so you can also inspire others to get into this field if you want to inspire people. And so this program, it helps to develop quantum computing kits for educators like teachers. It also helps to deliver programming to youths from different backgrounds. Why did I put this here? Is it to talk about Canada? No. The reason is to also challenge us here in Africa, to challenge those of us from Africa, that we can do the same thing. We can organize programs like this. I know that One Quantum Africa has been doing great things, and Farai has really and those of you in the leadership team have really made a lot of contributions here. But we can do better than that. We can go the extra mile. We have been reaching people, let's say, in college, people that are above high school. We can go a little bit lower, get involved, get people who are in high school involved in this, because the next generation of quantum computer engineers or quantum computer software programmers are going to come from these people. And if we don't play our part to educate them, then countries will overtake us. And we'll still keep crying, oh, Africa is poor. Oh, we can't find people to do anything in Africa. It is time for us to help the young people that are coming up. In your little niche, you can create a group. You can set up something like this. Advertise it for young people. Start a club for them. Do the little you can. I remember back in my country, Nigeria, when I was there, I organized tutorial free of charge most times to students to inspire them, to teach them mathematics, to teach them STEM subject with my friends. And that little gesture left lots of impact in them. And recently I've been thinking, how can I also help these young people in high school, in secondary school, before they get to university? Get to understand that, get to help them demystify all the fears they have about quantum computing. That is what we should be thinking about. Instead of waiting for the government to do that, we can do that in our little corner, and only time will tell what the impact will be in the long run. And so I want to inspire you that you too can do this. It's not only achievable here in UBC or here in Canada. We can begin to teach people quantum computing. We can begin to inspire young people to get into STEM, to get into physics, to get into quantum mechanics. And that's a way that we can help Africa be the giant, or be in the right position in this next technological revolution. Instead of saying, oh, my situation is a disadvantaged situation, we can begin. Knowledge today is made global through the internet. And there are lots of resources out there to help people. I remember preparing resources to help the young people in this group to know how to get started, step by step, what materials to read, what to consult, and how to go about approaching quantum computing. That's a way we can make a difference in this field for the next generation. There are also workshops for teachers that we organize here in Canada by the Canadian Association of Physics. So we too can begin in our little corner by helping the teachers in various schools, high schools, maybe those in our universities who don't see the need for quantum computing. We can inspire them, we can help them, we can train them, we can set up programs for them to get them inspired, to get them to see the need to really to teach this topic in their schools. Some of them are scared of quantum mechanics because they don't know how to go about it, but providing them the right training will be very helpful. And we can put together our ideas to make this happen. I know that we can. So so that I don't waste so much time here, I'm just going to tell you this last thing that we did before I draw the curtain for today. Recently, we organized, I am part of this committee. I'm the student representative, the first student representative for Quantum BC. It's a body that sponsors, that oversees, it brings together researchers from across the world into universities here in BC and trains them to prepare them for the industry and also at the academia. And so it provides internship opportunity for students here who are studying here in these universities. You have University of British Columbia, you have University of Victoria, and you have Sherbrooke University is under QSci-Tech, but you also have some other universities here in BC that are part of this Quantum BC program. Part of the international committee, and I represent the students for this group. And what we did recently was to organize superconducting circuits and qubit for students. Yes, it was really a great, it was the first superconducting workshop that was organized internationally, and people from different countries attended this. We can do the same thing in Africa. We don't have to wait for the developed world to start to do things like this. We can organize things, partner with companies like IBM and others. Like I learned, some of the people who taught in this program, they taught for free. People want to volunteer to help. People want to, when they see that you have a great vision, they don't mind helping you accomplishing that vision. We too can be the pioneers for things like this. And I believe that we can achieve that. And finally, this is my recommendation. I'm sure that this is what this program is all about, like I heard, mentorship. For me, it is important to find a mentor. I think Abdul say he's under mentorship, which is great. It is good to find someone that inspires you. Also, find a mentee, find someone that you can inspire. Form a group to grow it. Find problems to solve within the African context. Everything I'm saying right now is within the African context. Share information to inspire people. There are information about scholarship that we can leverage on. The Chinese didn't become superpower like in technology overnight. Most of them came on scholarship to study in the United States. And today, most of the schools here are actually, you see lots of Chinese, you see people from Asia actually coming here to study on scholarship, and they go back to their countries to develop. And so that Africans are coming here to study doesn't mean that they are going to end up here forever. We understand our problems. It's just for us to get the knowledge and then take it back to our country and make the difference. That's what this is all about. And it's not all about just saying, oh, let's sit back in Africa, wait for everything to arrive in Africa before we can make a difference. No, let's help people come to the place where we are and inspire them to get the same quality education that we have. And we together can make a difference in Africa. Volunteer to serve. Be a voice that charts there's a mistake here, that charts the course in quantum computing. We have to be the voice that charts the course in quantum computing for Africa. We are the, well, I say first generation, you can say that we can make a difference today. See a need, meet a need in quantum computing. United quantum is African. So that's my last, let's say, soundbite. If we're united as researchers, if you're united as people with the same goal, quantum can become African. Thank you.
Amazing. Such a great insights, Gideon. Thank you very much. It was a very interesting, very interesting talk. Such a great motivation for the young people in Africa, especially the part that like in Africa, in each country you face the same problems, okay, the same obstacles, like regarding the traditions, regarding the religion, really regarding every little thing in our communities. But we literally we face the same problems. Sorry. So basically I just wanted to point out something out there, which is it's always good to help out young people, because sometimes young people that are passionate about quantum, they just want that little push. They just want they want to feel that they are being supported, there's someone out there that can help them just lower the barrier between them and their quantum dream. So yeah, great. Everyone, please, if you have any questions about the career of Gideon, the recommendations that he raised, which I believe they were amazing. Like me myself, I'm holding a pencil, I'm taking takeaways. So it's always good just to, you know, hear like people with hands-on experience about their journey and what they have faced in their quantum, you know, quantum career. Gibbs, if you're up there,
Yes, Abu.
yeah, come through. Yeah, good day.
Yeah, good, good.
Thank you very much.
How are you?
I'm pretty good, thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Gideon, for your talk.
You're welcome.
I'm also interested in quantum machine learning. I just have a few questions. Okay. How to start, like sometime you want to apply for maybe, I don't know, for a lab or something, but you realize that they don't have maybe a focus on quantum machine learning. Maybe they are doing quantum, but most of the time it's focused like condenser matter. Like there are some professors doing condenser matter, some are doing machine learning, but you don't find someone who's doing a specific research in that field. Like how to approach a professor, maybe to propose them your interests and so on.
Yeah, I think that was my issue too. My supervisor never worked in quantum machine learning. I'm his first student in quantum computing. So, and I started quantum machine learning in his group. So I had to send a message. First, you have to tailor your, what I say, you have to send like email, a knock, it's a knock on the door email. That's what I will call it. That you send an email that tells the professor that you know what you want, right? You tell the professor that these and these have been your background. This is what you know in this field, and this is what you intend to do. They read it and then they can assess exactly what this person is saying, if it's reasonable or not. I remember the two universities that I applied to, I got admitted to both of them. And when I was rejecting one of them, I felt bad about it, but because of how much the professor had assisted me, even in securing scholarship, funding for the position and all that. But he said something. I think from his looking at my application, he said, I know you're going to succeed. So it's not to hype myself in this place, but I think we never met before. I've never seen him before, but he just saw from what I'd written, from my proposals to him, that this was a great idea. So if you are able to come up with a great idea, it's possible that those professors are not working there. Many of them want to diversify, but they don't have the right team to do that. My supervisor told me that he had thought of quantum computing for a very long time, but he didn't know how to start. So I was the person who took the initiative and he decided to start. So basically it's like now I am, they are willing to learn, right? They want to learn from you. So it's a growth process for me and him, and it's working out fine. So yeah, don't be scared to like tell them what you want, and don't always restrict yourself. Whether the lab does exactly what you want, they want to diversify, and so you should.
Thank you. That's all.
Yeah, thank you very much, Gibbs and Gideon. By the way, Gibbs is the president of One Quantum Cameroon. So holla to Cameroon community.
Hello.
Yeah.
We are fine. I'm still working for our first event. Maybe at the end of this month, we will host an event.
All the best. And you know, we all just a family, you know, if you need like any help, and you know where to find us. But you know, as a takeaway, before I share some of the questions that I have for Gideon, I see Pomzide is raising her hand. Pomzide, please join us.
Hello, host, as well as our speaker and everyone joining us. It's just a comment that I have, not a question. Great talk by Gideon. I think this was nice because you gave us that personal perspective or your journey in research and quantum. But my comment is more of, us as Africans, our challenges. There's a lot of political as well as economical instabilities. And as researchers, the question is, how do we arise from that? And then one of the past 2 days, I've been tracking the work of the Nobel Prize winners. Today they announced chemistry, yesterday they announced physics. And a common theme for me in their work was it enabled change, it addressed the key problems that the world is facing. So this is just for me to say to researchers, particularly researchers, that let the research guide the problems that the society is facing. That's only when we will emerge and get that attention. Maybe not first from government, but for investors who actually want to invest in us, that we are addressing something that is of concern to the society. And those who are entrepreneurial will, of course, agree with me that opportunities lie within the problems that we have. Then I think once we pick up that, then government will come on board and to support those initiatives, but keep up with these initiatives. We are also keeping up with them within our respective regions and countries, but just the way that let our research not only give a breakthrough in the field, but also address the key societal issues that we face as a continent. Thanks very much.
Yeah. Thank you for that.
Thank you, Ponzile.
That's a good contribution. Just to also add to that, sometimes I have conversation with my professor and he's like, he tells me, say the person who produced penicillin or something, I forgot the drug now. He was given funding for a different research, but something bad happened to his work when he came to the lab the next day. And it was supposed to be a bad accident, but it turned out to become a good accident, right? And today we have the medicine, penicillin. So, and research, sometimes you can predict how it's gonna go. You have some great ideas, right? But you don't actually know where it's gonna lead you. As much as you want to focus on solving current challenges, most of the Nobel Prizes that you see today that people receive, they are not work that were done for immediate solution. That's just what I wanted to comment. But then having a focus of what you want to do, taking a place in this field and doing what you know it's important. Tomorrow will tell if it's a problem worth winning a prize for or not. But just to add to what she has said, I just want to encourage you to solve a problem. It may not be like Elon Musk. It may not be like, but just solve a problem. And if you solve a problem, by the way, Elon Musk is from Africa. If he decides today to go and build something in South Africa, it's gonna be a big deal for us, right? But I think I don't want to go deeper into that, but that's just what I wanted to say.
Yeah, thank you very much, Gideon.
May you also look at the messages in the chat, Abdul?
Yes, that I was just gonna read. So we have a question here from Lorraine, the president of One Quantum Zimbabwe. Lorraine asks, what do you hope your legacy will be in quantum computing? And what does the future of quantum computing look like? She said she added a pen and picture for us for your vintage position in Canada.
Oh, that's a great question. My goal is to make impact in the world of quantum computing such that I can inspire others with my work and my life in this field to also get involved in this field, solving problems that will affect mankind, especially problems that relate to Africa. Because if we can solve most of Africa's problem, we are going to solve most of the world's problem. Because the problem of immigration, and you come to a country like this, you don't think that people in Canada are just immune from trouble, right? It's a better system where you have sane people leading the country, but not so much so in Africa. The point is that I dedicate myself to what I'm doing to make sure that I'm able to make impact on myself so that that impact can translate to people in this field. And so when I study, I don't just study to pass exam, I study to know and to apply to what I want to do. So I don't know if that really answers the question, or perhaps I shifted from.
You know, yeah, actually, Lorraine adds, she's interested in quantum machine learning very much, and she's like, she wants some recommendations about the materials, like the steps, how, like the directions in that field. And also, Ponzile has raised the question of mind giving us a short description of your research problems. So if you could just, wrap that up in just a minute, because I have to add some, a bit of small questions for you as well.
Okay, yeah, sure. For quantum machine learning, there's a lot of materials out there, but the first thing is for you to actually be grounded in quantum computing. Know the essentials of quantum computing. The other thing is that you have to learn machine learning on its own. And so when you have understanding of some of the machine learning models and you have learned quantum computing, it's very easy for you to see the connection between them, because machine learning is actually quantum computing, the way I've seen it so far. So you can easily see the intersection between machine learning and quantum computing if you take these courses, if you take them separately and then begin to draw the connection. That's what I do myself, like looking at quantum kernels and looking at quantum machine, looking at kernel tricks in supervised support vector machine. So yeah, so that's what I would say. And there are materials, there's a lot of them that you can begin with. I don't have them. I can't say them, I say offhand right now, but if you want, you can always reach me. I will always be happy to let you know that. Yeah, my research, actually.
Yes, a short description, yeah.
Yeah, I actually promised my supervisor not to say anything about it.
No worries, just maybe just hints. Or it's just all secret.
Okay, yeah. My research is in quantum machine learning, and I'm looking at how to solve large machine learning problem with small quantum computers. That's what I'm going to say for now.
That's big. That's like a one word that could just actually describe your project. It's big.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Gideon. So
thank you.
Yeah, so I have few questions here. Basically, what do you think is the biggest misconception about Africa or its people? You coming like you're like you're based in Canada. Like, what are the misconceptions about the continent? What do they think of us? In some sort of a way. Like, what are the aspects by any means?
One thing that I feel, one thing I think about, people think about Africa is that they think that they don't see that you can actually do what they know how to do. So it's funny, right? But that's the truth. Like, if you come to this place and they see that you're a Black guy, they look at you from a different perspective. Like, oh, how did he get here? Can he solve the same problems that we are solving? But as time passes and they see that you can actually do much better than what they ever imagined you could do, they begin to respect you and they give you more things to do. So yeah, it will face the challenge of, well, I say systematic racism, or I don't know. But people look down on your ability as an African. That's what I would say. Is that the line you're asking the question, or?
It's just from your personal point of view.
Yeah, and there are lots of other challenges. Like in Africa, if you coming from Africa, I didn't have enough background that I should have in some of the courses that I'm supposed to get. I'm supposed to know to begin a research.
Mm-hmm.
So coming to this place, you have to do double the work that they do here, because they have been part of this program. They've been taking these courses from undergrad, some of them. And so you are coming into it from grad school. You have to do double the work they do. So it demands real commitment and discipline on your part to do that. So that's what I would say.
Amazing. Yeah, I totally agree with you. Our generation that is alive at this moment in Africa, or just Africans that are based across the globe, it's our mission to save the country, our countries, and save the whole continent from being missed out, from being left out. Like the global key players across the globe, they benefit from Africa big time. But what about the human resources? So that's the main thing that we need to focus on for our generation. Maybe, okay, and I'm not happy to say that, maybe our generation wouldn't benefit so much from quantum computing, but like in the next 10 years or 15 years. But let's make sure when real quantum computers are out there, they're real, okay, and not just in the next era. Let's just guarantee the next generations are like guaranteed to have a bright future. They have a saying in the World Economic Forum. They have a steady place to come from, and just to influence the whole world. Thank you very much, Gideon. So I have another question here, like outside of quantum tech and physics, machine learning and all, is there any book that you're currently reading? And if so, what is the name of the book? Like, which book are you reading? Like, are you reading actually at the moment,
At the moment, I won't say I'm reading a particular book, but I'm trying to, one of the books that I've read recently is the book about Elon Musk. My favorite books are just to read about biographies of people, and also watch documentaries about people. So the most recent I read has been Elon Musk, but I'm still looking at who else to read about.
So we have another question here from Nikosinate. I'm sorry if I spelled the name wrong, but sorry, he asks, how important was it for you to go to Canada? Was it not possible to do what you are currently doing in Africa? What are the main reason you just went to Canada?
Was it not possible to? Oh, of course. Of course. Okay, that's another story on its own. I graduated from school. I had one of the best results in my department, and but it was difficult to even get, it was politics to be a lecturer in the school, because the normal thing is if you have a first class, you can actually be a lecturer in the school, but the politics was rife and I couldn't. Getting a job was also difficult. And so I decided I couldn't stay in the country anymore. I needed to get out of this country and do something reasonable with my life. And I know I wanted to be in the academia. So I needed to get good education, and I didn't want to have a second degree in Nigeria because I wanted something quality. I started pursuing for scholarships. I got a presidential scholarship from the previous president, but the next president sat on it. But luckily for me, I got another scholarship. That's the scholarship I use in going to McGill and doing my master's. And today I'm in Canada. So Canada provides me the platform to do lots of things. I couldn't concentrate fully studying in Nigeria without thinking about working or getting money. But in Canada, I can do that. So that's a very big plus for me.
I hope I hope one day Africa would be a very interesting place to to study quantum in. I hope so one day. And we're already seeing that in South Africa, exactly. Isn't that right, Kumzile, our One Quantum South Africa president? So I have another question here. Yeah, so let me just reach to that. What is your favorite hack or simple tool like that you think is underappreciated? Like I kind of like a special tool that you use in terms of you know, modern days technologies and so.
Well, people are, what I found recently is that people run away from some of the basic computing, which is Linux. Programming with Linux is, I don't know, maybe some of you who are into software are already used to that, but I had the opportunity to like teach second year students here with bootcamp for them. And even though most of them from Canada, you could hardly find people who are very proficient, or rather, in these tools. And then I'm thinking of Africa. How many people in Africa actually use this tool? It is underrated because Windows has made it very easy for you to click here, click there, and you don't know the power of using Linux. So I would encourage people to really get back to it. It is very powerful.
Absolutely, especially for the software engineering and system engineering people that are actually, they're dreaming of becoming a system engineer. Or so definitely you need to learn how to use Linux in system engineering, because Linux has an essential role in that, especially in the services and telecommunications.
Yeah, but not just only people in software engineering. That's the, will I say this sad thing? Everybody should be used to that kind of programming or to that kind of computing, because it gives you control, gives you security control, gives you lots of that you can have. So that's what I feel that people underrate, and they don't want to delve into that because it's difficult, perhaps.
I totally agree with you. The way I entered into the Linux world, it was actually just being an enthusiasm, okay? Just the enthusiasm inside myself. But a year after that, I remember that I fixed a lot of problems in one of my hard drives, and believe me, it was a lifesaver that I took some courses in Linux, you know. But yeah, it's a very important skill that everyone should learn. Thank you. So, what is your favorite getaway place in Africa, and where you are based and why?
You mean place for like vacation or something?
Absolutely, yeah.
Oh, I didn't grow up with so much luxury. So
just name a place that you always, you know, love to go through, like, you know,
yeah,
when you feel burnt out.
I've heard a lot about South Africa, and I think it's one place I like to visit. And the next place I like to visit is
I'm guilty of that too.
Which one? What do you say?
South Africa, yeah.
Yeah, maybe what North Africa. I've stepped my feet in North Africa, but
you're most welcome.
All right, thank you so much.
Thank you very much. So there's a very important question that we need to ask. If, like, at the moment you had a capable quantum computer today, like, what kind of problems that you would just, you know, suggest to solve at first space in the continent?
I think when I saw the next speaker, I was really impressed. I was happy for that topic, right? Because we need to solve the problem of diseases in Africa. Our genes are completely different from, sorry to use that term for the biologists, maybe you would say that's subjective, but yeah, because of our gene makeup, we face peculiar problems in terms of health-wise. So it's the first thing I'll think about is how to solve some of the health challenges in Africa. If we can solve that and people are healthy, I'm sure that we can have more people not die from malaria, more people not die from some of the common diseases today. So that's one thing. And the other thing will be, the other things will flow from that. They say health is wealth, right?
Health is wealth, absolutely. Yeah, so like what really triggers me now is like, you know, having a career in quantum, being out there in Canada, like what kind of career advices that you would actually give to young Africans?
Young Africans,
Yeah.
if you discover that you're not in a place that offers you the opportunity to explore your talent, there's nothing bad in going out there, fishing and taking it back home. So go out there, fish, and then you can take it back home.
That
So
is
that's
amazing. Absolutely. I need to clap to that because, you know, we see a lot of Africans, they go outside, they study abroad, and, you know, for some, of course, we know the situations that is happening, as Pomzile has raised, like some political situations in the African continent, you know, but like the situation wouldn't get better unless the educated Africans across the globe come together and solve this in a serious manner and sit together and you define what are the needed steps, okay, the serious steps that we need to take to move things forward.
Yeah, and that's where the collaboration in this group matters, right? I love what you guys are doing here. And
You're one of us.
Yeah, I'm one of, yeah, of course. So, and I wouldn't mind collaborating with anyone on any project that will enhance.
Amazing. Thank you very much. So, you know, last but not least, if anyone on the planet wants to contact you, wants to establish some sort of a, you know, collaboration, what is the best way to get you?
You can always get me via LinkedIn. And if you want my email, I can always give it to you. That's not a big deal. Yeah, and we can take it from there and then move on to the next stage.
Okay, great. Does anyone has a question, inquiry, some, you know, something just to give, like, to provide a commentary and all? In the meantime, okay, let's just have you know, a finishing moment of today's session. What I've actually noticed in the last couple of years, so I started my quantum journey in mid 2019, and as long as I remember,
So you're older than me.
yeah, 2019, almost 2 years now. So yeah, so when I started off, all I wanted is just someone just giving me the way. Like, I don't want free resources. I don't want that. Like, I don't want the easy way. I just want someone who can, like, points like quantum dots on the wall. Hey, you need to go to step 1, step 2, 3, 4, and all of that. I know that seems like someone who, you know, with intentions to go to the easy way, but I learned the hard way, okay, that we need a serious action at that time. I'm talking about. We need a serious action in my country, Libya, and also across the continent, Africa. But after just 1 year, I remember Farai has reached out to me via email, and then, you know, everything boomed out. Like, and today we have a very big community, and we had a vision. Let's just move, like, let's just move the African community forward. And I still remember the first few meetings. We still don't know how to get things going. Are we really going to be a very established, very professional community? Voila, like after 1 year, we hosted a lot of tech leaders in quantum, a lot of big CEOs, a lot of big influencers, and it was all, you know, kudos to Farai, who actually believed in the community. And I believe like a lot of the opportunities that I have actually received, a lot of the support from One Quantum, you know, has gotten me today to not just knock on a door, but even, you know, just blow doors and blow buildings, okay, in terms of partnerships and all. So thank you all for joining us today. If you have any further questions, anything to add on, we'll be free to add any, you know, any type of inquiry to the question list here in the chat box. Other than that, Lorraine has sent us the invitation link to the cocktail party, which is an amazing opportunity for everyone to meet, to discuss, and you know, to have some commentaries about today's sessions, how we could, you know, just move things forward as each meeting, where we, you know, define the key points of the panelists and of the speakers that we host each time. So please, please all join us in the cocktail party. I will paste the invitation link again so everybody can catch that quickly. There you go.
Thank you very much for inviting me, Farai and Abdul. It was a pleasure actually coming here, and
thank you very much.
Really impressed by what you guys have done. One Quantum Africa is actually it's been a challenge to other One Quantum around the world. Like the colleagues started one here in Canada, and yes, I always refer them to One Quantum Africa and what you guys have done so far. So it's amazing. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Let me just stop.
Thank you, Gideon.
You're welcome.